Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best.
Hello, this is David Russell. I'm back. We are talking about how to manage client expectations during on-site service calls. We talked about standards in lesson 1. Now for lesson 2, let's talk about some communication basics that we want to make certain we're following so that the experience for our clients is as positive as possible. Now I'm going to start with dress code. How do you look? That's the first impression. How do you look? So first of all, very simple, you should have a dress code at your organization. You got to meet that dress code. Let me give us some particulars here. Perfume, cologne, smoking, body odors, you don't want to smell like anything. That's pretty basic. Neat, professionally groomed. However that's defined in your organization, go for it. Your clothes are clean. They are tucked in if that's your standard. All right, whatever the standard is, you want to look good because you are representing the organization and the image counts. Now, sorry, don't want to offend anyone, but no underwear, no cleavage, no butt cracks are showing. Okay? We've got parts of our body that really are not part of our professional appearance. Okay? Trying to choose the right word there, but hey, when somebody bends over, when you bend over, nobody should see your butt crack, okay? I have seen this in way too many professional environments. It's inappropriate. And quite frankly, ladies, if you've got great cleavage, that's a wonderful thing, but that's not part of a business environment, okay? And you got, you're all muscle bound, whatever, no tight shirts, no tight pants, you are there to do business. Look good. Okay, but we're not trying to emphasize certain parts of our body or some of the less appealing sides of our body. We're trying to keep those under wraps as they should be. Hands should be clean and dry. Okay, never shake somebody's hand with a sticky hand. Hopefully not a wet, sweaty hand, but some people have that issue. Do your best. Body language. So when I'm talking with someone, ideally, if I'm seated, I want to kind of lower myself physically to their level if appropriate. By the way, I did have a boss one time for a year that the seat across from his desk was purposefully lower than his seat at his desk, so he could always look down on people. And I was about, I don't know, 6 inches to a foot taller than he was, so it's kind of funny. Anyway, you want to try to keep your chin at a neutral horizontal level, not up, not down. Eye contact, yeah, make eye contact, but not so much to make the person uncomfortable. It's like, whoa, this person's like staring at me. Try not to frown. That's not a good posture to use. So that's not the way we want to look. And if you're sitting, you want to lean forward a little bit to show engagement. Okay? Now, once again, some communication basics. Clients in person or on the phone, chat, online meeting, they get your full attention. All right. So we're not talking with someone and then we are, also looking at text or, answering instant messages, answering email. No. They get our full attention. We don't interrupt them. We speak in a language they can understand. Remember, they can get angry. They're frustrated. They're upset. All right. I need to remain calm and respectful, even if they attack me and I didn't do anything wrong. All right, I'm going to be friendly, but I'm going to do my work. In other words, I'm not going to talk for 30 minutes about what our kids do and where we like to go on vacation or the sports teams or the politics, whatever. No. Stick with your work. On-site etiquette, number 1, we're going to listen. Great technical people ask great questions. And listen and repeat back the key attributes of what was shared so they can confirm it. You're going to smile, communicates I care, right? I'm going to use a pleasant, respectful tone of voice in my body language. I'm going to treat everyone in the office with honor, dignity, and respect. I'm not going to dismiss the janitor or the receptionist or the assistant to the boss, whatever it is. Everybody's my friend. Okay, I'm going to be nice to everybody. And when I'm in a meeting, I'm going to let others speak first. I'm not going to, command the conversation. And when it's appropriate, I'm going to ask good questions. So these are pretty simple, straightforward things. You can stop this training, by the way, at any time to kind of review this stuff. Relational tips. I want to recognize the cultural clues. You're going to go into certain offices and they're going to have trophies for the softball team, or they're going to have awards they have won from vendors, or they're going to have artwork, or they're going to have whatever. What is the culture of the organization? I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is David Russell. I'm with Manage to Win, and I'm here to blank, do whatever, confirm the work to be done. I may sincerely, briefly compliment certain aspects of things that I see if I mean it, okay? And I'm going to always demonstrate the active listening skills. Active listening skills, we talk about that more in another training, but basically I'm listening, I'm repeating back parts of what I hear to confirm I'm understanding correctly, and then I'm asking questions to clarify and moving on from there. Now, it's very important I avoid assumptions. Assumptions cause problems. And this is not only assumptions about what their problem is, but I never want to assume my message is understood. So I want to clarify things in ways that it's clear we're on the same page. When I'm estimating my time for resolution, I want to pad it a little bit for any unexpected delays. If I have to say no, I want to say a no to the task, but I'm going to try to say yes to the person, but no to a task. Like maybe they want me to do something I shouldn't do, or maybe they want me to do some service that is not under their contract. I have to say no to the task. Hey, I really want to help you validate the person, but say no to something that's inappropriate. Now, this last bullet is really important. I want to always speak in the other person's preferred communication style. What does that mean? Let me walk you through this real quick. There are there's really 8, but I want to focus on the high ones a little bit more. But there are 8 communication styles. There's 4, and they each break down to 2. So there's dominance, and that's a D. Okay, so we have D, I, S, and C. They are behavioral styles that are also communication styles. So the high D is someone who's aggressive. This is a type A personality. They want to take action. So their communication style is get to the point. I don't have any time. They always have a sense of urgency. Give them information in summary or in bullet points. If you give them a lot of detail, it'll either bore them or irritate them. Okay, so understand their communication style and adapt to that style. The high D wants things briefly and succinctly because they want to take action. The low D wants time to think, so they want lots of detail, lots of data. The I is influencing how you interact with other people. So basically, high I is an extrovert, low I is an introvert. So the high I is going to want to talk. We need to be aware of that, make time for talking, but we need to limit it, control it politely, respectfully, and stay on track, maintain the focus. The low I, isn't going to want to talk a lot. You may have to draw information out of them. S is steadiness, how we handle the pace of our work environment. So the high S is a skeptic. They're a people person, but they're skeptical. They want to serve other people. Okay? They don't want risk. They don't like sudden change. They want to trust you, but you got to earn it. The low S, faster to trust, more flexibility. They're going to work with you, be more flexible, that type of thing. But you need to know which is which. And the C is compliance. This is the analytical, the opposite of the D. The D wanted everything quick, bullet points. This person wants all the data. So their problem will be analysis paralysis. They want to make the right decision or no decision. And so they want proven processes. They want data. And so you need to be aware of that. The low C wants to do it their own way. They're going to make decisions on very little data. So be aware of that as you're working with people. Is this person a high D? Is this person, a high I, high S, high C? In particular, you can also be aware of the low styles. I know I went through that fast. You can slow down, go through it again if you want, but these are things you need to memorize. What are the key ways that people communicate? Adapt to those styles, and you'll be much more successful. Sample communication process. Summarize verbally, and then in writing to confirm understanding. And you're going to clearly confirm what's going to be resolved. Okay, the primary problems we'll resolve are blah, blah, blah. Clearly communicate the process and the time frame, and then stick to that time frame. Very important. Saying no to a client. This does happen. First of all, you're going to decline anything that's immoral or illegal. You're not going to load pirated software. You're not going to help them break the standards that are on their systems so they can look at pornography, or you're not going to help them break the code so they can download movies that they shouldn't, whatever. So we're going to decline all immoral and illegal requests. We're going to be respectful and polite if we have to say no. I'd love to, but blah, blah, blah. I might explain why in Goldilocks detail. Not too much detail, not too little, just enough. I'll suggest alternatives to meet their needs, and I'm going to complete my current work with excellence, no matter how they behave. Now, how do I deliver bad news if I make a mistake? I know you never make a mistake, right? But there are those of us out there who make mistakes. So first of all, I'm not going to just call them, say there's a problem. I'm going to be prepared, and I'm going to deliver, here's the solution and here's the time to resolution. I'm going to deliver it live. That means in person or by phone. If I can, I'll leave a voicemail if they're not there. Then I'm going to follow up with email. Don't hide behind email or chat. I'm going to apologize. Going to talk about that in a moment. I'm going to be clear and brief. I don't need to give them, a diatribe, a whole book, a novel to read. I'm going to follow up with email. I'm going to document in the PSA, and I'm going to move to the solution as quickly as possible. Confirm the time frame in writing, and I'm going to be on time. Now, what about apologizing? Be prepared with the facts and what you expect will be the client's response. Be honest, empathetic, and sincerely apologetic. Take responsibility for what you did wrong, not necessarily anything else, but what you did wrong. Typically, you want to avoid pointing out any client errors except indirectly. The focus here is, I made a mistake. Let me take full responsibility to resolve it and move on to the solution as quickly as you can. Delivering the bad news if it's their mistake. Somewhat similar, but there's some nuances. Once again, before we deliver the news, we want to have the solution and the time to resolution. That's the important thing. We want to get off the problem and move to the solution. Once again, we deliver the news live. It's in person or by phone. We're going to be factual. We're not going to blame, and we're going to be humble. Be clear and brief. Can give more details if they ask. Follow up with email, document in the PSA, and let's get moving towards a solution. That's what we're hired for, right? Solutions. Not to say, oh, you got a problem, you're in trouble. No, here's something that happened. Here's how we're going to resolve it. So this is the end of lesson 2. Review the slides if you want to. Watch this again, listen to this again. This is key. How you communicate is critical, whether you're on site or remote, in working with clients. And a lot of these tips work with interpersonal relationships on the job, off the job. So discuss what we just covered regarding current situations, maybe past tickets. Answer these 5 questions. Prepare yourself for the exam and pass the exam. Then you should have passed exam number 1 for the standards, exam number 2 for on-site communication. The next 2 are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Those go faster. That's lesson 3. Goodbye for now, and I will talk to you again soon.